Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. How are you this fine evening? I am Yolanda Poe. Welcome to the other side of victory. I'm here tonight. I am super, super excited. I'm super, super excited. We're going to be talking about art today. Not only are we going to talk about art, but we're going to talk about how art and life mix together and how they help us to step into our destiny. So first of all, I want to talk about before we begin, I want to talk about the fact that on February the 13th at 9 p.m., I will be doing a chat, getting the tea on domestic violence between married couples and women that are single, to see if there's any difference based on how the two may feel, and also to give you a gateway of getting a mental escape. See, when we get out, it's great that we're out, but what do we do when we're out? How do we cope with the PTSD? How do we start our lives over? For those of you that used to watch me years ago, I used to talk about how when I was in my situation, I had to learn me. I had to learn what type of eggs I liked, what soda I liked. I had to learn these things. So we're going to talk a little bit about that on February the 13th at 9 p.m. But for now, let's talk a little bit about art. The language of art, how it speaks to us as individuals. Art takes different forms for different people. I will say that the art piece that you see behind me, which you may not be able to see it really, really good, but it speaks for itself. Everyone sees it differently. Oops, I'll go this way. Everyone may see it differently than the next. Some people see in this picture, they see musical notes. Others may see a baby being born. I'm trying to get around. Some may see a baby being born. Others may see somebody singing. It's all in how you view the art piece when you see it. I like this type of art, and we'll talk about the different types of art in a minute. But I like this type of art because to me, it's a conversational piece. It speaks to what is that? It takes my mind off of everything that's going on in my world. When I sit here, and I have other pieces that are in the office here, but it takes my mind off of whatever the crazy is. I love deep, rich colors. I love colors that pop. I don't own enough of them because it speaks to my personality. It speaks to who I am. Even the quietest Yolanda has a scream to her. That's why I love the colors so much. Very seldom will you see me in grays and blacks. Brown is my black. There was a time that all I really wore was black. And I didn't know at the time, but I later found out that I wore a bunch of black because that's how my soul felt. So I identified with my soul on the outside. Even though I still loved bright, vibrant colors, that's how I felt. So thus, that's what took place. So which was the dark colors. So I took the liberty of doing just a little research as it pertained to the wonderful world of art. I thought it was really interesting. It's really cool because art takes you out of your now. It takes you out of where you are, I believe. I believe that when people look at art, it takes them to a deeper level of self, a much deeper level of self. I remember when I was in college, and I can't remember now, so don't make me go back, but colors mean something. If I remember, oh gosh, reds represented death. I think blue represented energy, vibrance. Colors have meaning. So you find a person that wears a lot of black may, just be really laid back. Another person is wearing really bright colors. Their personality may be bright. They can still be an introvert and like bright colors. Stick with me, I'll bless you. I am an introvert. I don't particularly care I can be by listen, I can be in this apartment and not leave it and be perfectly fine and nothing be wrong. I'm not depressed. I'm not going through anything. I just particularly want to be home. But when I'm out, baby, I'm out. I like bright colors. But when I walk into a room, I don't try to steal the room. I just want to slide in and sit in the corner in the back somewhere. That's what I want to do. But my colors speak for my personality. My colors speak for my spunk. They represent who I am, even though I'm sliding in the back room. Art does the same thing. It represents itself in so many different ways. And the beauty of art is that you can depict it however you want it to. And it's never a wrong answer. That's what's so cool about art. There's never a wrong answer to it. It's just answers. There's such a beauty in that. To be able to, something in life that you can look at and it doesn't have to have a rhyme nor reason. And it's not a negative. It's just self-expression. Oh, how gorgeous that is. So, my goal is always to be with you no longer than maybe 20 minutes if I can work it out. I sat on my glasses earlier, so I don't know. Are they all right? I don't even know at this point. These are my faves too. I'm like, I hope I don't break them on air. That would be horrible. Okay, I think those are better. So, we're going to first start talking about abstract art. Now, as we were speaking, abstract art is what you're looking at back here. Okay, so it's full of color, and it's my most favorite in the art world. After reading tonight, I don't know if that's true. We're going to ride with it for now. Why I love it? There is no rhyme. There's no right or wrong way to interpret it, as I stated. Its message, I feel, its meaning is whatever you want it to be. It's non-apologetic. This art has a free expression of itself. It says, hey, here I am. Take me as I am, or don't take me as I am. But if you take me as I am, I will be whatever you want me to be in that moment in time. And I will change for you if you view me differently. That is the beauty of it. There is another piece in here, and I was trying not to go like, am I able to turn this thing around? No, I am not. So I'm going to do it this way. Can I? So, don't I look crazy? You see these? I know I look crazy. You see these pieces of art right here? Isn't that cool? I have a thing for music art too. So there's really no rhyme or reason for that either. It's just kind of there. So you've got the piano, you've got the horn, and you've got a whole lot of other stuff in the background. It looks like you even have a, is that a, I think that is a record player, is what is back there. But there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just a collage of things. It's right there. It's however you want to see it. It can be warm. It can be vibrant. It can be whatever it is that you want it to be. I have another one that's like it's a guitar and it has a great big flower in the center of it. It's beautiful. It's whatever you want it to be. That's what I love about abstract art. No rhyme or reason. Others would say that there's another art that I'm about to talk about, but that particular art they're saying that there's no rhyme or reason with it either. But I believe that this is my baby right here. Um, it can be relaxing or energetic. Um, that piece that I showed you was vibrant, it was popping. But this back here is warm. I have this in my office because it's warm. It's warm, it's inviting. It says, hey, come in, sit down, have a cup of tea. So the very first artist to do abstract art was Kandinsky. So it dated back to 1910. He was the first painter who used non-formal composition, the very first painter. Then we have contemporary art. Now, contemporary art in 1910 as well, it was a Roger Fry and his colleagues that were the founders of contemporary art, of the Art Society. Contemporary art is considered something of today, something that gives a message in your now, wherever our now is. Okay, so it's designed to make you think. I personally think that abstract art is designed to make you think, but they're saying that contemporary art requires you to think, which I guess is kind of like true, because there was a piece that was put out today the other day as it pertained to Martin Luther King, and say that right there, that was a conversation piece to be had. I'll just leave it at that. I'd encourage you to Google it. But it was a conversational piece to be had. The beauty of it is it can be found outside, not necessarily inside. It can be found anywhere. It doesn't have a specific home, I guess it's best to say. It can be shown through video. Of course, we said land art. Its message is usually very strong, very powerful, very intense. It also can be found in poetry and dance, even in music. And all of this is listed under contemporary art. Poetry is really cool because you have your spoken word. You just don't have poetry. You have your spoken word, which is a form of poetry. Some people like to do it with music. Others just like to just do it without, whatever your preference is, but it's still expressive. It makes you step into whatever the person is saying. There is a room that they're trying to get you to, and spoken word takes you to that room. It directs you there, and it educates you while you're in it. I think that's a beautiful interpretation of contemporary. The last piece that I found was really, really cool is I wanted to talk about sculpting. Sculpting, the very first sculptor, is really interesting. When I heard the story, when I read the story about this particular artist, I find it very interesting that this very first sculptor was a Black woman. Her name was Edmonia Lewis. I'm probably killing her name. I can kill her name. Give me a minute. Half a second. I got you. She was the first Black female sculptor artist in the 1900s. Is when she died in the 19th century. She died in 1907 in London. So I wanted to take the time, if I still have it up here, to read a little about her, because is she still here? I think I might have lost her. Yeah, I think I lost her. Hold on. Yeah, I did. I did. I did. Let me grab her name again. And then, because I really want to read it to you, I just don't want to tell you about it because I don't want to miss a beat. Like, she was phenomenal. She was that person. Um, trying to see if I can find her story. Here we are. It says the sculptor Edmenia Lewis shattered gender and race expectations in the 19th century in America. I am going to post her picture because she is phenomenal. And I know this is not Black History Month, but whatever. It's going to be Black History Month tonight. So she was kidnapped, beaten, and left to die. Edmenia Lewis, a talented artist with both African and Native American ancestry, refused to abandon her dream. In the winter of 1862, a white mob had attacked her because of reports that she had I'm sorry, I got a pop up. Reports that she had poisoned two fellow Oberlin college students, Abilene college students, drugged their wine with Spanish fly. I'm sorry, I just got a text. Drug their drink with Spanish fly. Battered and struggling to recover from serious injuries, she went to court and won an acquittal. Though these details are apparently true, after becoming an intentionally known sculptor, Lewis used threaded or broth truth and imagination to embroider her life story, artfully adding to her reputation as a unique person and a sculptor who refused to be limited by the narrow expectations of her commentary. Among the collection of the Smithsonian American Art Museum are several of Lewis's work. Most of her significant work is The Death of Cleopatra. Greets visitors who climb to the museum's third floor in the Luce Foundation Center. I'm killing words today. Many of Lewis's work has disappeared from the art world, but her image of Cleopatra found it way back from obscurity after a decade long of sojourn that carried its own strange story of fame and lots of fortune. Listen, this woman was amazing. This was around slavery time. Can we talk about how, can I just keep it real? We as people get frustrated and drop stuff, put stuff down. This woman was beaten. She was put through what the thing say? The thing said that she was kidnapped, beaten, and left for dead. Yet she still continued to follow her dream. She still decided that she was going to continue to sculpt, to make images. And she decided not to listen to anyone. She decided to make sure that her voice was heard. She was a strong person that had a vision. The Bible talks about write the vision down and make it plain. This woman may not have been able to write it down, but she hid it in her heart and she kept that thing. That's what makes this whole scenario so wonderful. The other day we were talking about creating a prayer closet. And we were saying that we needed to steal away and to spend time with God. We were talking about that. In order for that thing to work, you have to ignore everything that's around you and block out time. I have to believe that this woman blocked out time, that she made time to be great, not knowing whether or not greatness was her path. Could it be possible that she was pursuing her dream without the thought of being great? that she had wrapped herself in the beauty of who she was and cultivated that in such a way that nothing else mattered. And because of that, she was elevated. Because of that, her art, her work is known in the Smithsonian. Could it be that? And could you be her? Can you be that individual that is so passionate about what you want, that the fame and the fortune of it all doesn't even crowd your mind, that pride does not take over, that being self-absorbed does not take over, but the passion of the desire to do, the passion behind it is what drives you, which brings you to a place of greatness? Could you be this woman today? Could you be that one? That one that fights to be all that she can be or he can be? This particular individual killed all barriers, period. As a Native American woman, as a Black woman, she killed all barriers and said whatever to all everybody, and became a great person. So I leave you with this thought. What is it that you need to break away from, to ignore, to have blinders on? What is it that you need to shake so that you can be great? Pride is a dangerous thing. So we're not even talking about that. We're talking about being so happy and so excited about whatever it is that you want, that all you know is, I got to have that. God will do exceedingly abundantly, and always saying is above all that you can ask or even imagine, even think. But in order for something to happen, we must do something. What is that something that you need to do to make what you may see as little become big, become a destiny, become something that people remember you by? My kids would get a little melancholy when I say, you know, when I leave here, I want it to be said that I ... What is it that you want to be said about you that can be carried through history? What is it? Are you one that loves hard and considers the thoughts of others, but loves hard and does the best that you can do to accommodate those that God has given you charge over? Are you the one that is driving so very hard to get to your next level that you can't see anything but that next level? Are you asking God to download information to you so that you can create another world? This is water, don't nobody panic. Are you waiting for God to download your next step? What you're supposed to do next? This slides me into the last segment of this conversation. The reason why a lot of people, when it comes to domestic violence, stays in violent situations is because they become clouded and they don't remember their worth. I can say that when I was in that relationship, the relationships that I was in, I didn't think about my worth. I just was living. But there comes a point in time in everyone's life when you look and go, wait a minute, I'm worth more than that. And it's only until that point in time is when you're able to step outside of the box. So what is it that you need to shake you? Because, you know, real talk, you're amazing. You're phenomenal. You are educated within right. Some were not able to make it out of college and are able to create. This woman didn't know college. Can we just talk about that? In the 1800s, she didn't know nothing about that. And I said that. She didn't know nothing about that. Okay? There was no college for her. There was no elementary school. It was none of that stuff. You know what she did? She worked with what she had, which was her hands. She worked exactly with what she had. What do you have that you can work with? Because a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that have, that the education. They have the degrees. I got a couple of them under my belt. But there's people that don't have that. I've seen people on TikTok or heard of people. I saw this clip of this guy that spent an enormous amount of time in jail. He came out and created his own trucking business. Now he's a fleet of trucks. Listen, dude did time, like real time. He came out and did something. What is the something? And a lot of us, it takes time. We're trying to define ourselves, trying to figure out what we want to be when we grow up. Figure out, because eventually you're going to have to retire. And what you going to do then? I think that it's one thing to have a job. It's the thing you got to go to every day. And then there's that thing, it's like a career. It's fun. Like you get up in the morning and you just do it. And it's you just enjoy doing it. And it may have a few bumps and bruises here and there, but you enjoy doing it. Should that not be our goal? Should it not be that our gifts make room for us? Should it not mean that as an intercessor, that you have what you say, if that's your calling? Just food for thought. Again, my name is Yolanda Poe, and I thank you so much for spending the time with me on the other side of victory. Be it evening, be it morning, whatever time you are viewing this, I granted a privilege to be before you this evening, this morning, this afternoon. You totally rock. I encourage you. Give me your thoughts. Send me a message. Let me know. How does art speak to you? What does it say to you? And art comes in many forms, not just on the wall. There's art all over the place. When God created the world, that's art. Have you ever sat and watched like the Animal Channel? That's a whole nother conversation. We're going to get to that one. Absolutely. We're going to get to that one. But it's all art. So what does it say to you when you hear a good piece of spoken word? Art comes in music. There's a gentleman on TikTok. He says that he speaks to your soul through his guitar, and that boy is fire. There's others that play the horn, that play the piano. That's art. How does it speak to you? How does it resonate in your spirit? Tell me, share it. I'd love to hear. I'd love to dialogue. Guys, I bid you a good evening. I want to thank you so much for the time that you've allowed me to speak to you. Feel free to contact me. You can message me on Facebook. I am working on an avenue where you guys can reach out to me directly. So with time, we'll get it all together. I'm just piecing it together as we go. So thanks again for giving me this time to be with you. It is time for me to sign off. Have an amazing evening. And please think about, what is it that drives you to do whatever? Where's that artsy piece in you? Everybody has it. You're amazing. You're dynamic. And if there's anyone listening that is dealing with domestic violence, if there's anyone that you know that is dealing with domestic violence, this is a place of peace and conversation. I deeply encourage you to send them to me. Y'all come on here and check it out. Hey, you know what? We can even work on getting the tea. Just in a light and fluffy conversation. If you'd like to come on live with me and you want to chat about some topics, we can do that. I look forward to those days. Have an amazing evening. Thank you so much for tuning in to the other side of victory. And I bid you all a good evening. Goodbye.